Okay, today you will need graph paper or graphs. What you're doing today on the directions, here they are. Get your graph paper. Graph the linear inequality. So here's the first problem we're going to be graphing. Y is less than or equal to x minus 1. Now we're first going to just graph the line. So first off, make sure the y is by itself. It is, so you got m right there with a 1 and then b right here. So then we're going to identify the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so the slope is 1 and the y-intercept is minus 1. So the slope has to be a ratio, so we put a 1 under it. Okay, so on the y-axis I go to minus 1. And then from that point, not from the middle, but from that point I go forward 1, up 1. And 3 points is all you pretty much need. Now, to decide if you need a solid line or a dash, a regular line or a dashed line, you see if that little bar line is under the less than sign, which it is. Okay, so the line's there, so that means it's a regular line. Regular line. So I take the ruler or a straight edge and make a regular line. Now all the xy coordinates on this line are what makes this side equal to this side, but what about the less than part? Well, we pick a point. We pick any point. I'm going to write test. It can be any point, but it can't be on the line. Any point will work. I usually go somewhere in here because those are both positive, so I'll go 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Okay, so x is 3, y is 4. Remember that. If you went forward 3, x is 3, y is 4. You can't mix them around. So I'm going to copy that down. And I'm going to take out the y and replace y with 4, and I'm going to replace x with 3. Remember, put a times dot there. So we have 4 less than or equal to 1 times 3 minus 1. Okay, so we know we got 4 on that side. Now 1 times 3 is 3, and then 3 minus 1 gives you 2. Does the sign eat the bigger number? No, it doesn't, so that's a no. So put a no. Put a no over that point. So every point on this side's no. Okay, and that means any point you pick on that side's no. Any point you pick on this side's a yes. Okay, you highlight the yes side. I'm not crossing it out. That's called highlighting. Okay. Okay, next problem. Y greater than or equal to 3x minus 2. So the y is by itself, so we have our m and b set. Slope, y int. So the slope is 3. Put a 1 under it, and then minus 2 is the y-intercept. So on the y-axis, negatives down here, so you go negative 1, negative 2. And from there you go forward 1, up 3. Now the line is there, so by the way, the line, I mean that thing right there. It's there, so it's a regular line. Okay, now I need to conduct a test. I'm going to pick a point. Usually I pick the point in here, so they're both positive. That just helps me. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. I'll go 3, 1. So 3 is x, 1 is y. Okay, so we'll just copy down the thing, the inequality, I should say. My bad. Y equal greater than equal to 3x minus 2. So 1 is y. And x is 3. That means 3 times 3. So 1 greater than equal to 3 times 3 minus 2. Now we know 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. So you end up with 1 and 7. Now again, it doesn't eat the bigger number, so that's a no. Okay. And over here is going to be a yes. So I shade the yes side. That means all sides over there, when you substitute those in, any point over there is a yes. Any point you pick over here is a no. Okay, my next problem. Y greater than 2x minus 6. Y greater than 2x minus 6. So the y is by itself, so you got your m and b. So slope y end. So the slope is 2 over 1, of course, and minus 6 is your y-intercept. So on the y, you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then from there, we go forward 1, up 2. Okay, now the line's not there, so it's dashed. Okay, it's a dashed line. Because that means the sides can't be equal, but you still need the line there to divide to separate the yeses from the nos. Okay, so you just make a dashed line. Okay, now pick a point. I'll go with this one. So I'll go 2, 2. Kind of like those points where they end up the same, then I don't have to worry about mixing them up. Okay, so y greater than 2x minus 6. Okay, so the y and x are replaced, 2's for y and 2's for x. So we have 2, and then we have 2 times 2 minus 6. So we know 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Now, this is a bigger number, and it eats that, so that's a yes. So yes on that side, no on this side, and we shade the yes. Okay, next problem. Y greater than negative 3x. Y greater than negative 3x. So I have m and b, put plus 0, so you have a b. Slope y end. So slope's negative 3 over 1, and 0 is the y-intercept. Okay, so this would be forward 1, down 3. Okay. The line is not there, so it's dashed. Okay, now that's been done. Got to pick a point. Let's go here. Let's go 4, 2. Remember, there's no right point to pick. You have a bunch of possibilities. So 4x, 2 is y. Okay, so write that down. You don't need to put the plus 0. I mean, you can if you want. I mean, I'll put it, but you really wouldn't need it. Okay. So y is 2, x is 4. Remember, that means negative 3 times 4. So 2 greater than negative 3 times 4 plus 0. Okay, so that's negative 12 plus 0 is negative 12, and that's a yes. Okay. Remember, because it eats the bigger number. 2 is the larger number than negative 12. Yes, no. Okay. Okay, next problem. Negative 2x minus 3y greater than or equal to 6. Negative 2x minus 3y greater than or equal to 6. Okay, we have a little problem here. We can't do the MB, well, we're going to, but we can't right now because we don't have the y by itself. So again, mark that. That's a negative. Now, you don't want that as a negative, okay? So you're going to switch the signs to opposite. It's going to be opposite. So the opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. The opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. Now don't forget, the opposite of greater than is less than. The equals 2 stays though. The opposite of 6 is negative. Okay, now you get your y by itself. So you're going to minus 2x, and you make a 0x and minus 2x there. Now remember, our sign is opposite now. So I drop 3y down, 3 times y. Put your x first. 0 minus 2 is negative 2, and then plus negative 6. Now divide these all by 3. Now remember the rule, okay? If you get a decimal, you leave it. Negative 2 divided by 3 is a decimal, so I keep it negative 2 over 3x. Negative 6 divided by 3 is a negative 2. So now we have our m and b just like we want. So slope, y-int. So the slope is negative 2 over 3, and the y-intercept is negative 2. So that one's a little bit more work than some of the others. So then you go forward 3, down 2. Or down 2, forward 3. It doesn't matter. You just get it in the same place. Remember, a slope is rise over run. The rise is negative 2. The run is 3. We always want to run forward. That's why we got to make sure that that y multiplying number is positive. Okay, it's a regular line. The reason it's regular is because we have the line there, so regular. And now we run our test. So I'm going to go 3, 2. So 3 is x, 2 is y. So I copy this down, don't copy the original. Okay, so 2 is y. And 3 is x. Remember, that's times. So 2 greater than or equal to negative 2/3 times 3 plus negative 2. Okay, I go on a calculator and I times negative 2 ABC 3 by 3. Okay, negative 2. Then a negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. Now that's a yes, because we end up with it eating the bigger number. So that's a yes. This side's the no. We highlight the yes side. I'm not scribbling it out, I'm highlighting it, okay? Next one, x minus y less than or equal to 3. Once again, the y is not by itself. So you have to get that into, by the way, you know it's going to be a regular line. You know that right away. Okay, so we want to make sure we have coefficients in front of the x and y. Those are what those are called. You don't want that negative, so you're going to do opposite. So opposite of 1's negative 1, opposite of negative 1's plus 1. Remember to make the inequality into the opposite, but the line stays, okay? Opposite of 3 is negative 3. Then you add 1x, and you make a 0x and add 1x to that. So line up your inequality. 1 times y. 0 plus 1's 1, plus negative 3. Okay, now divide all those by 1. Those are not decimals, so I just write 1x plus negative 3. And now I finally have the m and the b. And we've done that before. We just haven't had to switch the inequality, because usually it's been in equals. So slope, y-int. Remember, you got to save room for your test, so don't go all the way. So 1 over 1. So you reapply a 1 underneath because you need your slope, then negative 3. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Then from there we go forward 1, up 1. Okay, we already knew we were going to do a regular line from the start. conduct our test. Remember, I usually pick the point in the first quadrant because that's, so then I'm consistent. So 2, 4. It doesn't have to be that point. You can pick any point you want. Okay. You can pick a point over there too. I mean, I just usually go here, so then they're both positive. Okay, so y greater than or equal to 1x plus negative 3. So 4 goes in for y, 2 goes in for x, and it's 1 times 2 now. So we have 4 greater than or equal to 1 times 2 plus negative 3. So 1 times 2 is 2, 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1. That's a yes, okay? So yes, no. First two were no's, now we're on a streak of yeses. So highlight your true side. Okay, next problem. Negative 2x plus y greater than or equal to 3. Again, you don't have the y by itself, so I apply a 1. This is already positive, so don't make anything opposite. So I'm going to put don't make opposite. The reason why is because your y term is already a positive. It's a regular line, but we're not ready to graph it. We want to find the slope. So plus 2x. Then I make a 0x and plus 2x to that. 0 plus 2 is 2 plus 3. And you can divide by your 1. And it just ends up as 2x plus 3. So MB can now be applied. Y MXB. So the slope is 2 over 1, and plus 3 is the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, that's your plus 3. Then from there you go forward 1, up 2. Okay, we're drawing a regular line. And now I conduct my test. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3. I'll go 6, comma 3, x, y. So I write down that inequality that I ended up with, y greater than or equal to 2x plus 3. And 3 goes in for y, and 6 goes in for x. So we have 3, 2 times 6 plus 3. So that's 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. That is way off. 15 is a lot bigger than 3, so it should obviously eat 15. So that's a no. So no. Now go to the other side of the line you made, and yes. Okay. Final problem. 3x minus 5y less than 15. You have to get the y by itself, okay? It's going to be a dashed line, okay? So plus negative on your 5, and you don't want that negative, so you got to do the opposite, okay? Negative, positive, flip the sign, don't forget to do that, negative 15. So you're going to add 3x, make a 0x over there so you have a place you can add 3x, because you can't add it to negative 15. Negative 15 doesn't have an x. Then we have 5 times y. I put x, 0 plus 3 is 3, plus negative 15. Then I divide all of these separately by 5. Now, technically, I understand 5 divided by 5 is 1, but when you have 1 times y, that's y. Okay. It's identity property. 3 divided by 5 is a decimal, so we keep that 3/5. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. And we have our m, and we have our b. So slope, y-ant. So the slope's 3 over 5, and negative 3 is the y-intercept. So -1, -2, -3. And then I go forward 5, up 3. Okay, I run off the graph, so you're just going to have to make 2. It's a dashed line though. Okay, pick a point. Let's go to 2, 1. 2 up 1. Okay, so y greater than 3/5 x plus -3. So 1 goes in for y and 2 is going in for x. So you got 1 3/5 times 2 plus -3. Okay, 3/5 times 2. 1 and 1/5, that's fine. Just cross it out, put 1 and 1/5. Then add -3 to that answer. -1 and 4/5. Now a positive is always the higher value than a negative, and it eats it, so that's yes. So yes, no. Okay. Okay, right there. Good.